up, party people? Welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a minute, but I'm here yet again to bless you with a fantastic look on my beautiful client here. Isn't she pretty? Anyways, I've noticed a lot of love on my channel, so if you're new here, thank you very much for tuning in. And I will try to keep up with my posting. It's just your girl was busy for a minute, but now she's back. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. You already know I like to start with the brows. Brows shape the face. They're kind of like the icing on the cake, and they help with the eyeshadow look too. So it helps you map out where you want your shadows to go, where you want them to start, stop, and all that good stuff. After we fill in the brow, I'm going to go ahead and brush the product through so it's not too dense in certain areas. And then after we brush it through, I'm just going to clean it up with good old concealer. After that, I'm going to go ahead and go into her lid with some eyeshadow base, and for that I'm going to use Painterly Paint Pot by MAC, of course. I love this stuff. It literally does not move all day once it's on your eye. And I'm just applying this very graciously all over the lid to the brow bone. That's like one of my tricks, is you got to saturate the whole entire eye with this primer. It also helps the shadows stand out too, so that's a plus. Next, I'm going to go ahead and go in with a light brown shade. I got this from the Jaclyn Hill palette. I don't know what shade this is. There's way too many gosh darn shades or shadows in that palette, but it's one of the light brown tones, and I'm using that as a transition shade. Next, I'm going to go ahead and take more of a smaller brush. I believe this is the 217 by MAC. Again, I'm dipping into a Jaclyn Hill eyeshadow from the Morphe palette. I believe it's the shade Burns or Chip. I honestly, there's just way too many colors on this thing. I'm just going to say dip into a darker brown. And you're going to apply that to the outer corner of the eye. And I like to sweep this down onto the lash line as well. It kind of helps create more of a blended out gradient effect. And you'll notice I'll go back in with brushes just to kind of buff it and blend it in. My looks are all about the blending. To smoke out her eye a little bit, I'm going to take a darker brown to the outer corner of her eye as well as the lash line. And then after that, I'm just going to go ahead and carve out her lid with a little bit of our Painterly Paint Pot by MAC. And this is just going to act as a base for the shimmer shadow that I'm going to use, and also the glitter. Yes. The shadow that I'm using, however, is discontinued. Boo-hoo. I know MAC always does that, but you can find any really pretty shimmery shade that you have in your makeup collection, I guess. After that, I'm just going in with shadow to the outer corner of her eye. Like I said, this is going to help create a gradient effect. So I'm using shadows that I use in her crease, and then I'm also going back in to deepen her outer corner. And then for the color that I'm using right here, it's Black Tide, which is by MAC. Last but not least, for the eyes, I'm going to go ahead and pop on Bronze, which is a new glitter by MAC Cosmetics. And thank God for coming out with these new glitters, because we needed them. We did. We really did. I'm actually, one of the tricks that I like to do is use a 224 or like a bigger blending brush to apply the glitter. That way it's not so harsh on the eye. And as a base for glitter, I use Duo and then I dilute it with Fix Plus. I think I mentioned it or showed you guys how I did it in one of my prior videos. So if you needed help with that, just refer back. I believe it was my first ever video that I made. So refer back to that video if you need help. But anyways, now let's go ahead and go into the face. Honestly, this is the most boring part of makeup, period. Like, it's just like so tedious. It's the same step over and over again. Let's go ahead and go in with some foundation. And then after that, I'm doing concealer under her eye, and then I bring it on top of her cheekbone. This is gonna lift the cheekbone a little bit, kind of give that really pretty illusion of, you know, some fillers or Botox look. And then after that, I'm just doing the center of the face, and then we're gonna just buff that in. After that, I'm just gonna take a little cream concealer for her contour, and this color right here is Bronze by LA Girl Cosmetics. And honestly guys, this is like the ish. Like, this stuff is so inexpensive and you get so much product and it just blends out so perfectly. I've never used it for concealer under the eye, reason being I feel like it's a little too creamy for that, but for contour it's perfect. Now I'm just going to set her under eyes, and for that I'm using Laura Mercier translucent powder. I'm also going to set the center of her face with this as well. So anywhere we put our concealer. I honestly don't let this set for too long, or sit for too long, I'm sorry, just because I don't like the look of a super dry matted face when it comes to baking. Like, I think that just looks gross. It makes you look older than you already are. So I don't let it set that long. I'll just dust it off and then go about my business with the rest of the face. Now I'm heading into blush, and I believe this is Warm Soul by MAC. I use this on basically all my clients. It's like the most pretty universal blush you can find. Next is the most important part of the face, the highlighter. Yes! And for that, I'm going to go ahead and take Whisper of Guilt by MAC. Now I'm going to go ahead and go in with some eyeliner for under the eye, and honestly the eye is not complete without this step. Like, if someone doesn't have under eye liner, you need to get your life together, girl. For real. But anyways, I'm using Costa Riche, which is a really, really pretty red brown, and then I'm going to go ahead and buff that out. Last but not least, I headed onto her lip, and for her lip combo, I use Morning Coffee and a NYX Liquid Matte Lipstick. I forgot the shade, but once I find it, I'll leave it down in the description box if you guys are interested, or just comment on any questions you have about this look, and I will definitely answer all your questions. And voila! Here is the finished look. Doesn't she look so hot? Yes, mama. Yes. All right, guys. I'll see you next time. Bye.